I remember there was a time when I didn't believe that you couldn't do, or I couldn't do, anything more than just get a good job. Grew up in a household where that was your biggest accomplishment, was just to get a good job. My dad was a truck driver, still is a truck driver, been a truck driver his whole life. I'm not dogging on that, by no means, but I was never shown that you can achieve more than just getting a good job. And it wasn't until I was about 27 when self-development got brought into my life, was brought to my attention. And it's funny because I've had the thought where I say to myself, man, I wish that when I was younger, someone would have brought this to my attention. But someone did bring it to my attention. I was about 19 years old. I started working with this guy, and we started carpooling, and he used to have CDs. They would pop in his car, and they're motivational videos or, soundtracks. And I quit riding with the guy because I couldn't stand listening to it, because I didn't believe that it wouldn't get me to where I wanted to go. I thought just working, when I was 19 years old, I thought just working was what I needed to do to get to where I wanted to go, to achieve greatness. And so I stopped riding with him and just kept driving my own car. And I went and worked in North Dakota, and chased in the oil fields, and was chasing money, construction, factories, construction. And it wasn't until I was about 27 years old that someone had brought or showed me a podcast and a book. And I didn't read books. Education wasn't a huge thing in our household. And that was when my life really started to change, was when I started getting into self-development, working on myself. Fitness has been a huge part of that. And what started my fitness journey was that it was like, I wanted to create my own business. I wanted to do all these great things, and I was fat and overweight. And I told myself, I was like, how can I build this business if I can't even not be fat? So I started working on fitness. You really have to work on yourself to become more than what you ever thought. And I believe it now. I see it now. It's just crazy how close-minded I was when I was 19 years old. Had no idea, didn't even really pay attention to what successful people were doing. And it wasn't until I really started opening my eyes to, this isn't working. Going to work every day just to pay my bills and doing this same shit, it's not working. So what do I need to do? And it kind of threw me in a little bit of a depression for a long time, because I didn't know what to do. I wasn't around no one successful. Everyone that I was around just told me this is how life is. So I started drinking. And it wasn't until I found that podcast, or this podcast that I've brought up multiple times, that really changed my life, because these people on there, these successful people, really showed me that they've been in worse situations that I'm in. I'm very grateful, and have been, I've had a great life. And by all means, the way that I grew up, I didn't have a bad childhood. My mom wasn't around for a long time, in and out of our lives. By the time she wanted to be in my life, I was already a teenager, pretty much, a young teenager. And my dad, he tried to do, everything he knew to do, take care of us. And he was there for us, Like I said, I didn't live a bad life. But I didn't grow up with the mindset that you can be whatever you want to be, you know. Hell, all I ever wanted to do was get a job for the longest time. I couldn't wait till the day I turned 16 and just get a job. And the day I turned 16, I had a job. I worked ever since, always. Took care of my family. You know, that's the one thing they could definitely count on, is Dad would always be there. You know, my girl always knew that I had it handled. I always have.